Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for stopping in and watching this video. Today I'm scrapbooking this little photo of my daughter. She was not a very good morning person that day. So I've already kind of got what I want picked out. I had gone through all my die cuts and looked out a lot of pink and that nice mustardy yellow color. That big white floral piece on the right there is an old sticker from a big sticker book. It's probably at least 10 years old. And then that number 3 die cut, I kind of move around and I play with on and off for most of the video, but I end up not using it in the end. I was trying to kind of arrange what I wanted, and so I went ahead and just put the sticker down just so I get a better feel for what it's going to look like. Obviously stick it a bunch of times, get it all messed up, but it eventually gets on there. There's a couple places where it tears, and I'll go back and add something that'll make it better later. I don't think it makes it into the video, but I end up like splattering some Heidi mist later that will hide those marks. So finally get that stuck down. That there was a little piece overlapping. I just folded that behind there. I'm trying to find some paper to layer behind that photo. That yellow is like a perfect match. So I pull that, and then I find another pink one. There we go. And then put that away. So I'm trying now to decide if I want the yellow or the pink on top layer wise to see. And then I get those cut down. I'm trying just to leave a nice little edge around. And then I end up deciding with the other page, you'll see that it was a lot harder to just do it with the photo, and then I actually pull out a pencil and do it the easier way. I'll mark it about where I want and then go back and trim it. And then I'll go back, and if those pencil lines are still showing, you can go back and erase them really easily. I love that yellow paper from that birthday collection from Crate Paper. So it's just a little bit wider than I'd like, so I went back and trimmed a little more. I'm gonna get the ink out and ink the edges just a little bit. I like the distinction that inking, just not distressing, but just inking just a little bit along the edges on layers. It gives it more, you can see the depth and like the distinction between each layer. So I went in and did that. I'm sticking it down. I like to use a lot of adhesive just because I don't want to chance everything falling apart in the album later. So just sticking the photo down. Now I'm gonna try to figure out where I want it arranged, how I want everything going. I still think I'm gonna use that number 3 for a little bit, and then I'll eventually pull that out, thankfully, and then I'll be done with that. So I love that little tag. Layer those up in there. That mood die cut has some black type on it on that corner, so I'm trying to hide that, is why I'm tucking it behind there like that. And then fiddling again with that number 3, adding in more pieces, just arranging, trying to figure out where I want everything. Whenever I went through, I just went through all my die cuts and just picked out a bunch of stuff that kind of coordinated or was kind of the type fit. A lot of them say silly things that are contradictory to the photo, like being in a good mood and choose to shine and yay for life, because she just was not in the mood for it. So it was just kind of funny. So finally, I'm gonna start in just a minute inking the edges of everything and start sticking it down once I kind of get a feel for what I want. I do take that number 3 out. Okay, not yet apparently. So I'm inking the edges. I start at the bottom where I'm adhering things and working up so that it's adhered to the back, and just trying to arrange and make sure everything's the way I want it in the end. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut out a big chunk of this because it's just inking the edges and tucking things in, adhering things down, and then I'll come back whenever I get to something more exciting. So now I've just finished inking the edges of this tag, and I'm pulling out the baker's twine, trying to match to it. I'm just going to loop it through and do a little lark's head knot, just to add a little texture in there. And there it goes. And then whenever I go back, I'll just kind of arrange that baker's twine and try to get it in a nice like position. You'll see I'll like curl one of them, like twist it or loop it, I guess, and then adhere it back there. And then finally move that number 3, finally. Just kept floating around there, but it's not coming back. So I get that vellum one adhered in there. I decided to pop some foam squares behind that bigger one just to lift it up off the page a little bit. So I'm arranging that baker's twine like I talked about, and then I've got some Nuvo wet adhesive, liquid adhesive, that I'm adding just a little bit to hold that in place and keep its little loop, and then the tails will just tuck down behind the photo and you won't even see it. I'm just getting it on there. And that other one I'm not going to fiddle as much because not as much is going to show, so I'm just arranging it like that. And then it'll be tucked behind there as well. So this giant foam tape thing, I got 2 on Amazon. It was 2 for like $9. It is like 500 feet or something ridiculous of foam tape. It's amazing. So, and super cheap. Foam tape's never that cheap, and the back usually comes off really easily. I think in this I end up tearing it for a second, but for the most part it comes off really easily. It cuts easily. People complain because it didn't tear, but I never tear the tape anyway, so I just cut it with scissors. Get that adhered on there, and then that'll lift it up off enough that the baker's twine won't like ripple the photo or anything. So inking the edges of that mood piece and gonna adhere that behind there, and then I go back with my fingernails and just kind of rough up the edge just a little bit, just to give it more dimension, so it's not so flat against the page. So now I'm going to add this little chipboard flower. I had stuck him on wax paper, and whenever I went to peel him off, it peeled off his entire backing. So he's not sticky anymore. He's just chipboard. So I add some foam squares just to pop it up a little bit off of where it hangs off the photo. Then I'm going to pull out the die cuts. They're Paige Evans floral die cuts, and try to find some leaves that I like. I try some different options and different placement till I finally decide on one I like, and then I'm going to adhere that in place, and then use wet glue on the back of that flower to adhere it to the photo and peel the backing off of those foam squares that I had put on there before. And you see the wet glue, and that Nuvo adhesive or liquid adhesive is really awesome. It dries quickly. I used to always use the Scotch brand like everyone else does, and this I just tried. Victoria Marie, who's awesome YouTuber, had suggested it, and so I ordered it, and it's amazing. So I'm fiddling again with that number 3, just trying to make it work because I love it, and it's kind of perfect because she's 3 years old. So subtle hidden meaning, but it's just not working. So I add in a little tag, just keep fiddling with things and layering, and trying to figure out what I want where, adhering things as I go. Anything that is cardstock, I add that, ink the edges, and then that little stick or that little tag I cut trimmed it down so that it would fit between the layers easier and I wouldn't have to peel up everything. And then I added just a little bit of foam because part of it hangs off the photo. And then right about now is when I have a little visitor come in, and she will be in the rest of the video. So I'm trying to get her wave hi and she didn't understand, so turn her hand over. So now I'm kind of scrapbooking one-handed because she's on my lap. And of course she wants to help, so she's doing her own thing. I'm trying to work around her, just inking the edges and stuff. She loves using the ink pad and that stamper. She thinks it's a stamp. So she's playing while I'm working. Oh, and I didn't realize how bad it moves the table. So hopefully she won't do that very much. So just messing with things, moving things around, trying to keep her from destroying everything. Giving her her own pieces to work on a little bit at a time. And then she's just hilarious. She's so excited to be in there and playing. And then get those stuck down, kind of arrange. She's talking about that butterfly. She was all excited about it. And I'm kind of messing around trying to figure out where everything's gonna go. She's obviously destroying one of my die cuts, which is just fine. Whatever, keeps her happy. I'm still messing around trying to figure out where these pieces are gonna go and trying to, again, keep her from destroying everything. She stuck a couple things down. Later I'll go back after the video and use a pencil eraser to try to erase some of that adhesive that stuck. And then I end up, I mentioned earlier, I sprayed some Heidi Shine, or sprinkled some Heidi Shine spray along the page, and it hit a lot of those spots that were kind of messy. And then I ended up going back in and adding the date with some Snap brand letter stickers, and adding in the journaling. So now I'm want to add just a little bit. I want that butterfly, the middle, to be stuck, so I added regular tape adhesive to the middle, and then I added some foam to his wings just so he'd stay popped up a little bit even after he's in the album. Adding some extra adhesive to those chipboard pieces just because they don't usually stick that well. And then making sure everything's pressed down. She's over here playing with the foam tape, so I just tear off a little piece before she destroys the whole roll. And then I'm almost done. I'm just adding, just keep going and adding little pieces and tucking things. So right about now is when she'll start getting really antsy to help me do what I'm doing. So I let her try to help and let her add adhesive or try to help stick stuff down, or find places for little things. She obviously isn't doing it right. She uses the tape runner upside down, which is hilarious. Thankfully it doesn't mess it up or anything, but she really thinks she's doing a great job. She's adding adhesive to everything, and she's funny. Get that stick down there in the bottom left corner is where I'll add that journaling and the date with those stickers that I talked about a minute ago. And then I am going to pull out that bucket. This is where I keep all my tiny embellishments, like all those final pieces, enamel dots and tiny puffy stickers and flare and stuff like that. This is a little flare badge from Hobby Lobby, I believe, but it's got a pin back, and usually I would like go get pliers and like pull it out or cut it off, but with her on my lap, I just added extra layers of foam adhesive so that it would stick and that pin back wouldn't get in the way. And then I add 2 layers of foam adhesive, and then I stick that down. And then I'm looking for more little pieces, little enamel dots or foam stickers or whatever. India is pulling things out, so I'm letting her add some stuff. Everywhere I tell her to put something, she doesn't put it anywhere near that. So, but it's fine. And thankfully those puffy stickers are really easy to peel up, and you can kind of move them around if need be. just adding some more stuff. She pulls out some more stickers that she likes, which are actually perfect and they match perfectly. And she's talking about the bows. She liked the bows, but none of them really matched at all, so we didn't put those on there. And then these are some nice little puffy stickers, Maggie Holmes, that we got at Tuesday morning. I got doubles because they're amazing. So I pulled some of those out and let her put some stickers on there. And then I think there's one more I let her put on at the bottom. And then she just goes freeform and puts whatever she wants on it. And she really did put adhesive on it, so it really did stick. I had to pull it up, but I used an eraser and erased it off. It mostly came off. There's a little spot, but it got covered by that Heidi shine I add later off camera. So I add in wonderful because her mood obviously was not wonderful, so just a little sarcastic. And then that's about it. I call that finished. So here's the up close photos where you can see I added the journaling and the Heidi shine and the stickers and all that. So thanks for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more videos. Thanks. Bye.